Have you recently decided to dive back into the dating pool? Or are you just frustrated with the amount of first dates that never lead to a second? Whether you're single or divorced and you're jumping back in, I know that just the thought of dating again can be very triggering. After all, times have definitely changed. In this video, we'll talk about the 3 B's to a successful first date. These will help you get clear on what you want and how to feel your best for that first date. Hi, I'm Christine, and this is the X Life Podcast, where we talk about all things relationships and so much more. Okay, let's dive in. After divorce, I had many first dates, let me tell you, and I've had my share of bad ones. I'll be sharing some of those stories along the way. But I also had some really good first dates and things that I did to prepare and set myself up to get out of it what I needed and wanted. So let's get started with those 3 B's to a successful first date. So number 1, be prepared. If anyone else was a Girl Scout, they get it. Be prepared is the Girl Scout motto. I truly live by that to this day, or at least most of the time. If you're planning a trip, usually prepare by doing research, planning who you're going with, where you're going to go, what you're going to do when you're there, what you're going to pack, and then how to get to and from that destination. And your first date should really be no different. First, think about what you want and expect out of this date. Are you looking for your next serious relationship, or are you looking for something more casual? Or maybe you're just open to wherever it leads. There's no wrong answer here. It helps if you know what the other person is looking for as well. I mean, after all, it's not going to be a good fit if you're looking for something serious and they're looking for something casual, or vice versa. And side note, if you're looking for something serious, it's important to go into it not putting too much pressure on yourself, the other person, or that first date, because you just never know where it's going to lead. And you know what? Maybe you just make a friend out of it. So, in order to prepare, you need to vet this person. Like if they were introduced by a friend, get as much info as possible. Ask what you absolutely must know to feel comfortable meeting them in person. If you met online, it's even more important to avoid catfish. That reminds me of one of my favorite shows, The Circle on Netflix. I went into that show not knowing what it was about, but it's a really good show. And the players either come in as themselves or they come in as a catfish, which is pretending to be someone that they're not. And while it's okay that that's a game, you don't want that game in real life. You do not want to be catfished. So to avoid being caught in a catfish's net, first talk on the phone, and then go a step further by asking for video calls or FaceTime to make sure that prior to that first date, their personality and their looks are exactly the same in real life as they are on text and messaging. Take it from me, it's very disappointing when the online vibe is the exact opposite of what you meet in person. So, story number 1. I met this guy online, and the conversations were great. This was back in the day where we were basically messaging through a website, like a dating website, and I mean, the messaging was wonderful. We just went back and forth. It was very inquisitive, funny. I mean, I really liked this guy, and he was attractive too. So we did this for a while, and then we decided to meet and have this first date. So I was so excited to meet him. I was like, wow, this could be something great. And he comes in, and I think we were meeting somewhere to grab a beer first. And it was really weird because he just didn't talk. He was really quiet. And it was very strange because I kept thinking to myself, especially after the date was over, was someone else writing his emails? Because it just wasn't the same. And I was hugely disappointed. So take a lesson from me. Do the video calls, talk on the phone, really get to know this person first, because you don't want to end up disappointed, especially if you go out of the way to meet this person like I did. Okay, speaking of meeting the person, decide where you want to go. Do you definitely want to go somewhere where you feel comfortable and secure? I recommend meeting them somewhere in public if you do not know the person. In fact, I would tell a friend or multiple friends where you're going and maybe drop a pin as to your location, and then continue to drop pins to them if you move locations, if you're like, changes for some reason, just so that someone knows where you are. Usually, if I'm getting to know someone for the first time, I do prefer a place that's more quiet, because it's really hard to talk when you're in a bar where it's a rowdy sports bar. Everybody's rooting for their favorite team. And trust me, any time of year there's something going on. Like right now, it's baseball season and I think hockey. So basketball just got over. So you don't want to go somewhere where it's going to be crowded. And maybe the other thing is if there's a band playing or a DJ, even karaoke can be very distracting. So keep that in mind when you're planning. If you know the person, maybe you've met them multiple times and they just happen to ask you out, or maybe it's a friend where they're trying to turn it into something different. Again, do what feels comfortable for you. Do you want to go like take a nice walk? If you feel comfortable with this person, like you've known them, then do what you're going to enjoy. Because the more comfortable you are, the more you'll really get to know someone and make the best out of this first date. All this is just me trying to help you put your safety first, because I really don't want to see you on my next Dateline or 2020. Story number 2. So back in the day when I made a bad decision. So I had met this guy. It was at a lock and key party. I'll make this quick. And we met at a public place, and it was a group. I went with a friend of mine. And they put these locks around the girls' necks, and then guys were giving keys. So it was to start conversation. They would come around and see if their key fit into your lock. So I met this guy at this party, and he asked me out. And, we had spent part of the evening getting to know each other at this party. So I was like, okay, I feel comfortable. And he was like, why don't you come on up to my house, and then we'll go get dinner. So I didn't really think anything of it at the time. And I should have, right? So I go to the guy's house and I meet him there, and I walk into the house and I immediately see a lot of like stuffed animals, like dead stuffed animals. Why can't I think of the name right now? But you get the point. And then he's just showing me around, and I see that there's like, just walks me around the house. And in his bedroom is a mattress on the floor. Yeah, I wanted to turn around and leave right then, but he was nice and I wanted to be nice back. Sometimes I'm too nice, so I went to dinner, and then I just knew, like, this was not a love connection. But we were planning on dinner and a movie, so we came back to his house and we watched a movie, and I just could not wait to get out of there. So, learn from me. Do not have a first date at a stranger's house. Make it public, and then you can end it much quicker than I was able to end that date. Anyway, the more you plan and prepare, the more comfortable you're going to be. And you can even mention to this person that you have an after date activity. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to go meet some friends after this. Or I have to go pick up my kid later. Something that you've arranged ahead of time. That way it doesn't drag on, and you automatically have a set time frame. Like, you only have a couple of hours. And then, you know what? You can always change it later. You can always say, you know what? I'm having a really good time. Let me go see if my sitter can stay longer. Or let me see if I can just meet my friends another time. You can always change plans. And the other thing is, have a boundary about drinking. I completely understand that you might want a drink or two to feel comfortable, but you still want to be observant and, on top of things so that you can get out of there if necessary. and you don't want to be reliant on someone else if you drink too much. So maybe have a drink water, and that way you're safe and sober. That leads to B number 2. Be yourself. I mean, in other words, don't you be the catfish. It's not going to benefit you to pretend to be someone that you're not. After all, you don't want him to present himself as one thing and then later turn out to be something else that you don't like. So don't you do that either. If you're going to set yourself up for success, just be yourself. If it's not a love connection, that's okay. The right guy is out there for you and is going to like you for who you are. The other thing is, wear something that you feel confident in and that you feel like you look good in too. Don't try something new or wear something you think the guy might like. Wear something that you like, and then you'll be even more comfortable. And being yourself is all about personality as well. I mean, looks are only skin deep, so you really want to connect with this person through his personality. So I don't know about you, but I definitely have been like, man, this guy is so hot, but then he has a terrible personality. And then you're like, oh, great. He's got a huge ego, or he's just annoying, whichever. Disrespectful, rude. Like, all those things are turnoffs to me. So you definitely want to look beyond the surface and get to know this person. Or just be open when you walk in. Like, perhaps the guy looks a little different than you thought, or you're not as attracted to him as you thought you would be or wanted to be. But then as the day progresses, I know this has happened to me, where I'm talking, I'm getting to know them, they're making me laugh, and they're charming, there's a little flirtation or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden the attraction meter blows up. So just keep an open mind. Because, looks are only skin deep, but a personality can really make someone super attractive to you. Finally, the third B. Just be a decent human. But beware the creep, but be nice. Ladies, you know what I mean? Like, either the guy gives you that instant creep vibe, or somewhere along the way, your spidey senses start tingling. And if your fight or flight response is telling you to get the heck out of there, then get the heck out of there. Just do it in a nice way. Like, excuse yourself, go to the ladies' room, come back and just say, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. My sitter just got sick. They're having something, like, what can I think of? I don't know. Something happened. Their appendix burst. I don't know. Or your kid is sick and you have to go. Or something happened. Like, you need to pick up someone because someone didn't show up. A family member needs you. Just make something up and excuse yourself. Say, I'm so sorry. Let's do this another time. I mean, or maybe we can do this another time. How about that? And then get out. Like, there's no need to sit there the whole night if you're getting this creepy vibe from this person. But you want to be respectful. You don't want to, like, ditch him, like, go to the ladies' room and then leave through the kitchen or something like that, because you just never know what's going to turn people into psycho stalkers. And you don't need any part of that. So the lesson is to have a prepared escape plan that you've already thought of. Either the kids, a family member, or whatever. Just be prepared with that. The other thing is, so the guy really can't stalk you, is to do not give them any private information before the date. Don't give them specifics on where you live, like live in the general city, mention that, uptown, downtown, east, west. Like, do not give them specific information about where you live. Don't let them pick you up. Don't let them take you home. Just meet them at the restaurant and keep all private details. Don't tell them where you work, anything like that. The last thing you need is this guy showing up, like, stalking you anywhere in your private life. And so you can always also block his phone number. So then it's completely over. The less extreme escape plan is something I've used many times. Like, you're ending the date, you just didn't jive with this person, like, you're not feeling it, and you definitely, especially if they paid for dinner, And be prepared. You can also offer to pay for dinner. But especially if you're not liking the guy and you're thinking, well, it might be easier if I just offer to pay my half or whatnot. But you don't really like the guy. But he's like being a gentleman. He's walking you to your car. And you're thinking, oh no, am I going to have to I don't want to kiss this guy. I don't want to hug this guy. Here's what I do. Well, what I did. What you want to do is you want to oh, this is great. Thank you so much for walking. Oh, gosh, you know what? It's so cold. Let me turn my car on real quick. Okay. Or it's hot. You're going to turn the car on, air, whatever. In other words, get in the car. Just act like you're just going to turn on the car. But get in the car, turn the car on. And now, what I would do is, now when you turn your car on, usually your doors aren't locked, but that might be a little crazy to lock your door right away. But so you turn your car on, and then you can roll down the window. A lot of times what I've done is to send that signal is I put a piece of gum in my mouth. There will be no kissing, right? And then you're in the car, and it's going to be real, real awkward for him to try to lean through this window and kiss you. And you're obviously not getting back out at this point. So I'd just be like, oh my gosh, it was such a pleasure to meet you. I really had a great time. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a great night. What's funny about this story is I'm thinking about this one person where I did that and I gave every indication I was nice, but then I'm literally 30 seconds. I was so happy, right? I was so happy to be leaving. I'm thank God. Because this was a date that was let's have a drink. And then he orders dinner. What? What are you doing? Why are you ordering dinner? And so I'm sitting there. I mean, he ordered it kind of fast. So we had no time to talk at all. But I was oh no. I kind of knew when I got there. So I was so nice and I sat through dinner. So I did order dinner, but I'm not feeling it. So I was finally done with this guy after 2 hours-ish. And I'm driving away and my phone rings. And no, I didn't answer the call. I never spoke to the guy again, but I was oh my gosh, why are you calling me? I just left you. Ugh. So, but you want to be nice because you know what? You just never know when you're going to run into somebody. I mean, it's such a small world sometimes. He could be a friend of a friend of a friend and you see him somewhere and you don't want there to be any discomfort or you're oh man, she was a real jerk. We had this horrible, we had this great date and she, whatever, ditched me. You always want them to say nice things about you. And again, you never know too. You might end up being friends with this guy down the road. So the key is the shoe could be on the other foot here. Maybe the guy isn't digging you. And you want to treat this person the way you want to be treated. Now, I want to end with what you can't prepare for, which is meeting someone special. It's kind of how it was the night I met my husband. I wasn't prepared. It wasn't even a date, for crying out loud, but sometimes you just meet someone special and you're vibing and things feel so good. You feel connected, personality, attraction, all these things. But if you don't know the guy, just please be careful. Don't go above and beyond. Don't go back to his house. Don't invite him back to your house. Make sure you just set up a second date and get to know him further. Because when you do meet someone special, it's so, you just get so excited. And it's so tempting to break all these rules, but you still want to be safe. And I'm just saying, you can always have a second date and see this guy again. So now that we've done all the preparation, what do you actually do on the first date? Well, my next video will tell you all about the invisible first date test. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time on the X Life podcast, where you leave behind your ex life for your next life.